Hello, BookTube. I'm Peg, the book prize lover, and boy, have I got a lot of book prizes that have just come up and are coming up to talk about. I'm not going to do them all today, but I think there's more book prizes than ever. I found a lot of new ones. I've been looking at them for several years now. I found a lot of new ones this year. Maybe people were busy getting book prizes ready during COVID, I don't know, but it's been great. So anyway, I have three I'm going to go over with you today. I used to be crazy and try to read all the list of each one. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to pick one or two out of each prize and read it. You can kind of tell, I can kind of tell which ones I'd like better. So anyway, I'm just going to start with that, with one that the short list was just announced for the Republic of Consciousness Prize. This is a prize that's been going on since 2017 for books published by small presses, mostly in the UK and Ireland. They define small press as having 5 or less full-time employers. So that's pretty small. And it's a fact that small presses, in order to keep going, they need to have something really different to sell. They can't, couldn't get anywhere selling the same conventional writing that everybody else sells. So they're well known each year for the books they find and discover that are a little unusual, and I love them. So anyway, I'm going to go through a few today. The short list was just announced this week. I think the long list, final, won't be till mid-May, so you have plenty of time to read them if you want. I hope to read them all. I've kind of read some of them. Anyway, I'm going to start with, right now, what is my favorite. It's called Lote by Sheila von Reinhold. Now, this is right by the name. When you look it up, it has 20 in 20. And that is a group from Jacaranda publishers that are publishing 20 books of different kinds, fiction, poetry, nonfiction, by Black writers. And I guess 2020 is over. I guess they got them all done. I've seen that on some other books. But this one is just really different without being too different. I know a lot of people don't like actual fantasy, but this one has some time jumping, which really makes the book. It is about a young Black woman who is interested in the modernist period of Black literature. That's in the 1920s and 30s. I know some people are reading, I'm not sure when they're from, but there's some older Black authors people are really getting into. And she's trying to study the group, especially that took place in London, and their meetings and their, what they did. And she finds out some sort of weird things about them. I haven't read them all yet, but she suspects that there's been a removal or a losing touch of some of the records of this group. They did have their own group called the Smart Young Things, Bright Young Things of the 20s. And I have to say that the Republic of Consciousness has actually Jacaranda has a group, and you can find it on this, where they have meets and has little seminars and stuff. And one they had this year was, what was it called? How to write a novel in your lunchtime. So I'm going to give you the whole, you'll be able to find out all that when I give you this, the link for it down below. But it's right now my favorite to win. Of course, I need to read it again, finish it, and because it's got some very interesting atmosphere of literature and poetry in the time of the 20s. And yeah, I think it's going to win, but who knows? Okay, the other two that I'm going to show you from the Republic of Consciousness, I'm dropping things, that's not good, are two books that have been on many prize lists. If you've seen them on other prize lists, let me know. I'd like to have a list of what they other ones they are on. The first one I have on this Republic of Consciousness short list, which just came out, is The Mermaid of Black Conch, and it has to do with an actual mermaid found by a man, and she talks and takes part in the story. And it's got that little bit of fantasy in it, of course, to have a mermaid, but it's a very good story and complex. And it's, as I said, it's been in several book prizes already, and I think it's up for some. So let me know if you remember which ones it was in. Okay, and last, you're going to see these again. We have another favorite of a lot of people to win is A Ghost in the Throat. And it's has to do with a woman writer who manages to talk to or get together with a woman who wrote several centuries ago, and compare and find out about them. I'm not sure how it's done. I just read a little bit of this, but I'm on a group that discusses it, and this is a lot of people's very favorite. And again, I've seen this on several other book prize lists. So take a look at the link below, and you can find out more about the Republic of Consciousness. I think they're going to announce the final in mid-May. So you have lots of time to read 5 books, and I'll have time to read them again or finish them. Okay, next we have another one, which you'll recognize some of the books in. We have the Rathbone Folio Prize, which was just announced the winner. In fact, I just got a little blurb from them. If you get on their list, they tell you when there's a winner and what's up and all the news about it. And they just announced it. And I have to say that this is held by the Folio Academy, and it's an international group of writers and critics who get together and meet, and they pick out the ones for this. So it's very literary books, fiction, because of the judges and who picks them out, I think. They also have a mentorship. Actually, this is the one that has, you could read it, how to write a book in your lunch hour. I got mixed up with the two, but this is the one, and you can read all about it. There's a lot about it on the link that I've given you, and you can read the other books that were up for it. But I have to tell you, I said there's a lot of books on the same list. There's A Ghost in the Throat, again, was on the Rathbone Folio Prize list, and Mermaid of Black Conch was on another, and I've already seen several others. So again, let me know if you know anything about other prizes these may be on. I like to just have a list for my own knowledge and sake. Okay, and let's see. Okay, the one that won is a great book, and luckily I found it on Scrib. It's called In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado, and I luckily it's on Scrib, so I was able to start reading it right away when I saw it won. And it is just amazing. I've mentioned before that the reason I like to read these book prizes by younger writers and more non-traditional things is to learn how people live today and think and write, because there's a lot that when I was growing up we didn't talk about. And this is one of those, and it's done so well. It's the story of domestic abuse in a female relationship, and it starts way back, and the narrator is quite young, talks about her young days. It's just super interesting. She's now grown up, and she's met actually two women. They're in a relationship, and you can tell sparks are beginning to fly, but it's really well done, and it changes kind of genres as it goes. I think this is a wonderful book, and I forecast more good things for this book. I guess you would say it was kind of a memoir. They never tell how much is really true, of course. So anyway, congratulations on the winner of this. Okay, the last one, the book I'm going to talk about is Mysteries. I have obtained my love of mysteries during COVID. I used to love mysteries, and I kind of got away from them, but man, and there are some good ones out. The things I look for in mysteries are, the main thing is the atmosphere. That has a lot to do with where they are, other things besides the story. And then I don't care if the story is too complicated or not. I just don't want it to be too obvious what the end is. And I've picked out some books from the LA Book Prize, which is, if you'll look, it's a huge list of all the books on the LA Book Prize list. There's fiction, young adult. There's no way to just carve out the mystery section. So take a look. I think people like to look at the whole list, so you can take a look at that. They're going to announce the winners. I don't know if they're going to have the festival. They usually have a big book festival in mid-April. I forgot to look if they're going to have it this year. Sometimes it's good if they do put it on virtual, because you can actually watch the prize ceremony. Okay, so the mystery books from that list, I got them all at the library. That's because they were published, in 2020. And once books get a little old, you can get them at the library. But one of the ones I have started is A Beautiful Crime by Christopher Bolin. This involves a gay man couple that are meeting in Venice. And the first part is so good. I don't think they know each other too well, but they've decided to meet up at a certain gondola stop, and how one of them gets there is just worth the whole book. It is tremendously written so far, so I'm looking forward to that. And as I said, I like locale, and Venice is always good for having a location type atmosphere and fog and water. So that's one. These are going to be announced in mid-April, so I'll have time. One I already read, it's called Little Secrets by Jennifer Hiller, was a lost or kidnapped child story. It takes place in Seattle. Actually, since this is the LA Times Prize, a lot of them take place on the West Coast. Anyway, I think there's another one I don't have yet. I'm going to the library that I know takes place in Los Angeles. Anyway, this one is a woman is walking in the Seattle, the downtown place where they have all those booths and things, holding her little boy's hand, 5 years old, I think he is, and she stops for a minute to answer her phone, and she looks around, he's gone. And it really goes into their life. And I have to say, it's so well done, the final thing. It's not like what you thought it would be, and that's another thing I really appreciate in mysteries, when they really surprise you. And it was good all the way through. It mentioned a lot of things, like a nonfiction or a non-mystery writer would talk about, little things that happened that were interesting. I think she's a very good writer, and I'm anxious to try something else of hers. And one more that I have is called And Now She's Gone. This also is a story of a woman who disappears. They're not sure if there's bad play at work here or if she just took off. And we see it through the eyes of the, not the woman detective because she's been fired from her detective job, but she's gone to work as a private eye. And we see here, I like that when they travel around, and this is in LA, and see different parts. And so far, it's turning out to be quite interesting. And the people, the characters are well done. So I'm headed to the library now to pick up the rest of these and some other book prizes. So I'll probably be back soon. Hope you guys get to read some of these and let me know what you think. Bye.